Hello, everybody. This is Paul Herman, the Prince of Motivation and also the host of Zaka Presents My Journey. We're creating this vulnerable and positive platform where you can get inspired and motivated from different leaders from our community. Today, our guest is D'Angelo Senat, who is the CEO of AllPeeP. How you doing today, D'Angelo?
Well, amazing. Honor to be here. Thanks for
It's
having
an
me.
honor. Again, first episode in 2025, and we are about to kick off this episode with a lot of great gems and a lot of information coming directly from you. But before we actually dive into your company, what you do, and your journey, just give us a little background, your cultural background, and where you started.
Absolutely. So first and foremost, I'm a Haitian-American, born and raised in the inner city of East Fort Lauderdale.
Mm-hmm.
My parents immigrated from Haiti, like many who grew up in a marginalized community or happened to be immigrants, were seeking a better life. And just witnessing the way that my family grew up and those in my environment, it really instilled resilience, right? When facing perseverance or like challenges, the ability to keep going. And I saw firsthand struggles of my peers struggling, myself, my experience. And that really taught me the value of mentorship and community and leaning into that, in which I would say like it really was my village, my community,
Mm-hmm.
consisted of diverse individuals who poured into me. And I leaned in to like having an open mind to really learn from their experiences to apply in my walks of life. So really kudos to them and those I'm getting to meet along my journey like you all. So
Mm-hmm. I like the fact that you're saying some key words, and I must commend you on it because it's the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. A lot of the Haitian guests have used the word resilience when it comes to the Haitian culture, right? That is like I don't know if it's like if your last name should be resilience if you're Haitian because for some reason the word resilience comes up and also the word family and community also
right.
comes up as well. I want to say out of the many guests that have come on that have a Haitian background do mention that. So it's clear as day that the Haitian culture really values community and really understands the true essence of the word resilience. So is that something that you feel is true within the culture?
I would agree. Another word I would say is grit, true grit, like having the will to keep going no matter what the circumstances is. I want to ensure I'm doing my part to showcase those I come across with. Like no matter where you come from, what your environment is, you can shape your own destiny. You know, it just takes leaning into that curiosity and finding those individuals that align with that, that may already be a lot further along their journey where y'all can share the codes and really build it from the ground up or where
Mhm.
you are on your journey.
Okay. Now, growing up as a Haitian American, right, in the Florida area, I know obviously there's a lot of heritage and culture in there. Do you feel like that growing up, those those gems that your family members gave you, do you feel like that influenced your aspirations of being a leader and an entrepreneur?
Yeah, it has. Then, so I'm the youngest of three siblings and about 10 plus years of age. So being able to just learn and watch from them has really like allowed me to learn a lot quicker at an accelerated pace. But also watching my parents who hustled to sustain the businesses that they started in, like their own grocery stores and janitorial services, in which they had to shut down their doors due to the lack of mentorships or resources and not having the full know-how to build a sustainable business and taking the sacrifice of having to go work a blue collar job or my mom's a bathroom attendant, so working for tips and providing like candy and like assistance at clubs and stuff like that really has showed me like perseverance and like really inspired me to take the baton and keep going. And then like my peers who are like from multicultural backgrounds, and I noticed the commonality coming from a marginalized community is that you have to be creative and also leverage the resources of others because one household may have the connects as far as like knowing which schools that you should take your kid to as it pertains to educational learning and what their interest is and what is the best transportation routes to take if you're just coming to the city and just trying to learn how to get around and learn the loopholes of eventually saving to purchase a home and finding jobs and finding those connections. because there's a lot of other communities that are ahead of the game when it comes to that. So like my witness and experience of being a part of the Haitian community and a part of other communities as well has really showed me that it really takes more than one. It really takes a village. We got to do this.
Yeah, that's right. Another line right there. I don't know if y'all got like a little book or something.
Yeah.
The Haitian culture, like when you're born, they say, here's a book. Take this book and know all this by the time you hit your, not even teen, like by the time y'all 7, figure it
Right.
out.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Shout out
So
to that. Shout out to that.
say that.
Now, with resilience, right? Obviously, there's gonna be struggle, right? There's gonna be moments where you're like, oh man, I just don't even know if I could deal with this. It's gonna be adversity, right? Whether it's in Florida, whether it was college, whether it was opening your own business. Like, could you talk about a moment in time where you had to kind of deal with adversity, and how did it how did you not let it affect you because you focus on your mission of empowering others?
Absolutely. I think an important milestone and like point of my life where I had to shift was when I was in high school. Initially, I thought sports, specifically football, would be my way out because a lot of my peers made it out through sports or entertainment. But I faced a knee injury, and that ended my career. And I went through a tough period of depression.
Sorry
Um,
to hear that.
that experience really like empowered me to want to empower others, especially those from communities that look like ours, on what hard work and perseverance can do, and that they can overcome any adversity and reshape their futures. So after football, I really leaned into like my mentors in the communities, organizations like 100 Black Men, the Greater Fort Lauderdale, where like they have mentors from different walks of life, entrepreneur background or professional backgrounds. And I just asked them a lot of questions like, hey, I initially sports I envisioned to be my way out because that's all I really seen. And like what's next? I want to go to school, but I don't know which degree I want to do, and just question after question. So we will meet every Saturday throughout the fall semester of school, and that really led me to getting the answers that I wanted through these mentors. And then it also taught me the true essence of community, playing sports,
Mm.
collaboration, participation,
Teamwork.
working as a village, the teamwork aspect of it, and also pouring into one another. And that really led me to wanting to give back because a lot of individuals that look like me, individuals of other communities and ethnic groups poured into me. So I made an oath to myself that like when I make it, and also as I'm making progress, I want to do my part to give back and ensure that I'm sending the elevator back down. Got to
That's a
share.
really nice way of saying it. Set an elevator back down.
Yeah,
Even just in life in general, some people don't even do that. You can see a whole bunch of people with groceries. You see a couple of people downstairs in the lobby trying to find their way up to their house or to their apartment, and people just go upstairs, press the elevator, get off, and then walk to their house. But it's a difference when you turn back and you go to the elevator door and you press it and you say, "Go back down to the first floor." Or if it was that person on the fourth floor that you were like, "Oh, you know what? She's just trying to get on the elevator right now to do her laundry for the kids." Some, but it's
absolutely.
a great way of kind of putting. I remember living in the apartment buildings back in the Bronx, and that was something that my parents, my mother's Jamaican and my father's St. Lucian, so their
Mm,
Caribbean background, it was like a level of like something across the borders Caribbeans had was the level of respect that we have
absolutely.
for even and more importantly for our elders. So when we would see someone that was like she was holding like 3 kids, got a laundry bag and all that, and every time the elevator went up and down, it would just she wouldn't be able to get on the elevator. So then we send the elevator back, you know. And I remember doing that several times. So I get you on that. Um,
Exactly.
I know
Yeah,
that you talk about empowering, right? Empowerment, right? That's a part of this creed you got going on. You should have on your own clothing line right there. Just run the streets, with these big sayings, empowerment. Like, what was or was there someone that in your journey that gave you a different spiel on life, right? That made you inspired, to make you say, think deep within yourself, to be like, you know what, I want to learn how to uplift people, but I want to uplift myself first. Was there someone that got you going?
Yeah, it's a long list, like a
Ah,
ecstasy.
I
um,
can only imagine.
yeah, so it started off with pivoting from sports. There was a social worker at my high school by the name of Mr. Johnson, and so being a part of a low income household, I had to figure out, since I known that I was going to college, I had to figure out how I was gonna fund my way through college. Since most college students graduate with debt, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do all I can to graduate debt free. So he helped me kind of mold my story, and provided me links to scholarship applications and nonprofits that's providing funding to individuals that's graduating from high school and going to college in my community to go pitch to them and tell them my story. And that pretty much led me to connecting with other teachers and faculties that connected me with folks within their networks, which eventually led me to funding my way through undergraduate debt free. And then after college, that same mentor, Mr. Johnson, connected me with one of his mentees. Her name is Merlene Santil, who happened to have a high tech background. She was a tech executive. And around this time, I was ready to pivot from my full time job to go full time into entrepreneurship. And she
Okay.
showed me the ropes and really poured into me and connected me with individuals in her network. That's kind of led to the the domino effect of growing and making progress as I
Mm,
navigate this journey.
okay. And
From
the
this,
the fact of the matter is that you something that was very transparent in that conversation, that story right there, is that you didn't stop at the one person.
right?
You,
I did.
you know, some people they lock in sometimes to somebody. They feel like I'm comfortable. I don't gotta leave. I'm gonna stay here. But there's so much to learn about yourself, and there's so much to learn about the world, right?
That's true.
Having different perspectives from different mentors and people you could trust is important. So the fact that you're saying I went to this person and this person opened the door for this person and this person opened the door, it just goes to show that you were committing to growth
Right.
every single time.
And it's
And
also important that we, if the relationship doesn't fall out, we keep that constant communication or
yeah,
show a token of gratitude, maybe sending letters, letting that person know you're thinking about them. And yeah, that's a very important piece.
it's important to have mentors and coaches, right? And I'm glad that a lot of the guests that have been on have expressed that several times, and
Right.
like seriously expressed it. They're like, and not only because they had good mentors, it's because they're also mentors and coaches themselves,
Right.
right? So that's this journey of college. You were talking about it briefly and stuff, like the journey of college. Right after college, like how many jobs did you have before you start to realize that like entrepreneurship? Because I know you kind of said it. You were like, I was working a job full time, and then I realized. So when does this crossover start to happen? Because being at a job with benefits, salaries, whatever you were doing, right, previously, and then all of a sudden you're like, I wash my hands of that. I'm out, deuces. I'm going to follow the entrepreneur lifestyle, which the internet describes it as this wonderful lifestyle, which it is, right? But there's a lot of work that comes into that lifestyle, and you had to commit
Mhm.
leaving. So where was this whole? I'm gonna take a leap of faith.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna circle back just real quick. So prior to graduating college, my freshman year, very first college career fair, I was rejected by all the engineering recruiters since I just had no experience, just sports experience. And I was like, okay, that led me to starting my own company ideas like startups and building that technical expertise. And then so fast forward to after college, my first company was in the aerospace industry. Besides four other internships I had in college, but while pursuing this, while working at this company, I had another startup from college that I was doing full time at night as well. So I already had the urge, but I didn't take the leap of faith up until I started to experience like executives from the company I was at leading my force and noticing like how that just drained and killed the morale of the company, the well-being of the employees. And I came to work as a industrial engineer and a leadership development candidate. So they hired me as a change agent, which
Oh
allowed
wow.
me to understand the inefficiencies within the companies and providing the executives data to show why we should make these decisions. But they're like, hey, we want to do this. anything y'all can do to make sure that happens, y'all get it done. While we're in their face, letting them know that the data is saying that we should go the opposite direction. And then just the back and forth. And I was like, this is not how you build a
Yeah.
a a likable company that's making a lot of money that will be here for legacies and legacies to come. And but eventually the company had to shut down. But prior to them shutting down, I want to say a year prior to them shutting down, I pretty much took the leap of faith after noticing that. And I leaned into my network and was like, hey, I'm ready to go full time at the startup. I need to raise X amount of dollars to do this full time with the team. And I just leaned into it. So I took that as my indicator of now it's time to really go in full time and
Okay.
reflect.
So you pulled it. You said you pulled from your network.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
were
So
trying to like get funding to build the business.
yeah, so I reached out to my mentors who either worked in technology or already invest and started pitching them the idea. It took 6 to 8 months while working at the company to raise the funding that I needed, but I really went full throttle as far as raising the investment to put myself in position to go through it full time.
Mhm.
Like
Now,
it's hard, right? It's hard to walk away from a job that provides you more security when
yeah,
entrepreneurship
yeah,
comes.
yeah, yeah.
It's a roller coaster ride.
And it's obviously very scary when you hear the stories, right? Oh man, I just lost $1,000+ and you're
Uh,
like, that's $1,000, but then you got the person on the side of you, yeah, man, this investment I had for 10,000, it crashed. I'm like,
uh,
what in the world? It's like going in a hospital, and
right.
everyone's coming in talking about we got surgery, this person's losing blood. You start questioning, do you want to go into that room, right?
Absolutely.
So it's that life for that entrepreneur where it's like you just don't know what to expect. All you can do is try your best,
Yeah,
right?
and it's so important that the decision or the career or the business idea that we do have is something that we have a burning desire for, something that we yearn for and really passionate about. Because it's a contact sport, it's real physical as far as the emotions and the pain.
Yeah.
Um, like there's times where there was a phase where I had to go over a year, no funding, no payment, due to making the sacrifices to ensure that my employees are taken care of, the hiring and firing
How
process.
many?
Oh, say it again.
How many employees?
So we're at 7 employees, but I had to hire and fire. I had to go through the cycles of hiring and firing employees, and then
Okay. Okay, boss.
yeah. So when you're building a company, especially in the early stages, it's easy to get caught up in a task or multiple tasks and forget to check in with your employees to see how things are going. And then 6 months later,
Woo.
find out there's some that's not providing the value that they sold you on, and you got to take that hit and focus on the solutions and figure out how to
I give
pivot.
you that.
But through it all, there's so much learning that you can gain from having something that you're doing, something that you're passionate about, even if it's entrepreneurship or working a job in a field that
Yeah.
you really love. So
So then talk to me about the company now, AllPeeP. Like talk to me about the mission and like you kind of gave me like a little synopsis right there about the history, but like what's the mission? How'd you even develop this mission?
yeah, so growing up, for many of us, social platforms were our ways of staying connected with loved ones, peers, and the world. But these platforms weren't just tools, right? They were lifelines. But over time, as works with businesses, I worked with influencers. I began to see the shift from a platform where users are joining to connect and build authentic relationships to a platform that really now is exploiting its users, and it's no longer about connection, and it's really where like marketing teams are competing for ad space down the
Yep.
feeds users. So that hit me, and then it really painted the picture of that the problem isn't just technical; it was a human issue. So communities and businesses and individuals were just losing control over their connections and their data. So basically, what AllPeeP is, it's a custom community platform that's focused on creating technology to empower communities and its people and not exploiting them. So we integrate our software within websites and apps of our customers where their brand is the face of it. It looks like it was built by them, but it's actually built by AllPeeP. So we maintain and host the platform for them. And we have
Okay.
the similar features such as social media. So communities can engage via live streaming, audio, direct messaging, feeds, and a lot more. But we're making a focus about the business while giving them control and ownership of the data behind the platform. So instead of them building their communities on somebody else's land, we're giving them back the power and control to own their digital real estate.
Okay. 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 I'm getting you on that. And then the hard thing that you said is that you got to hire and fire this process. When did you develop the company?
So the idea I thought about it back in 2021. I went full time in 2022.
Mhm. Okay, within a year turnaround.
So
You something that you talk about a lot is like breaking barriers, right? Obviously, you talk about empowerment, but you speak you're very passionate about barriers, breaking them, and how do you overcome? What is like a way you have done that? Solutions on like how did you do breaking down those barriers?
so more so like troubleshooting and leaning in to like my community of mentors that have already been through that. So like we're trying to figure out how I'm gonna find my way through college, reaching out to my mentors that either had a full ride scholarship or paid their way through college, learning from their personal experiences, and then trying to figure out how I can do that. And my way was just going to tell my story to those organizations that were providing um,
Mm-hmm.
to individuals that look like me. And as far as business, reaching out to individuals on LinkedIn, asking individuals in my network about any entrepreneurs that they have within their network that they can connect me with to share some of my challenges and experiences to get insight. And then using the power of discernment to determine what I need to do in order to navigate around that issue and problem. Like with some of the cycles of having to hire and fire, reaching out to my advisors of the company and sharing my perspective and the rest of the team's perspective,
Okay.
these individuals to really ensure that I'm not operating from desperation or emotions, and I'm making a logical decision that will really ensure that we're fulfilling our mission and vision, and it's not just
How
a key thing.
I was gonna say, how are you managing all this?
So
You got a lot of things going on in that kitchen.
yes, it is. So
It must be the resilience kicking in.
definitely is resilience, right? And
Just
reiterate,
get the job done.
reiterating as well. But I take notes. We have a Kanban board basically where we list and track everything that needs to get done within the year. We break it down into quarters, months, and then week. I did something similar to this back in college, but basically just started to build systems around like our processes. And we're still adding systems and refining systems, but sending out updates to our current network of investors, advisors about like the updates about the company. Within this, you mentioned transparency, talking about the challenges,
Yep.
um, and just being completely transparent because I noticed that transparency has really allowed me to get the help I need fast rather than like trying to be short, not say the whole thing, and not giving the full details on the action item or whatever goal I'm
Yeah.
trying to accomplish is really just slow individuals I've seen who operate in that way down. Typically, you have some type of corporations and executives who operates like that, where they're not completely transparent with their team. In which some ways I do understand they don't want to flare up the culture, but I believe there's a way to effectively communicate, give them an understanding that we're facing some barriers, but no need to worry about that is really how you build trust. So my
Sure.
first customer, I would say, is my team that's working along with me, and then it's my customers because our customers are coming to us because they believe that we can provide them the value
Sure.
proposition that we're communicating.
Mm, mm, mm. Okay. Now, your creed, you talk about leading by example. Obviously, you talk about empowerment, but you talk about leading by example. You're leading by example every day as a boss, as a mentor, as a coach, right? How are you stepping into that? How are you realizing your strengths? Like, where are you going to be more of an asset to the company? When are you knowing that you have to be a little bit more vulnerable? There's a lot of hats you got to wear as a boss, as a CEO, right? So how are you navigating through that and making the right choices when needed?
Yeah, so it's really ensuring that I'm communicating with the team and like ensuring that like for one they have the resources and tools to be successful, which is of course getting paid or having equity, but ensuring that they have like the softwares and tools in order to do their job, but um, continuously communicating our mission and vision and like feedback from customers and stakeholders. And I believe that you don't make someone a leader or instill greatness in them. It's already in them. So it's just a matter of putting them in position in order to really do that and bring that out. So one thing I try not to do is not hold in the challenges or issues. Let's say I communicated with my team earlier this morning that I had a call with the customer and 90% chance that we'll close the deal. So the next day, let's say that customer did not, they have some concerns. So in the next call, I'll make sure that I communicate with my team like, hey, they do have some concerns. Let's troubleshoot this together because I like to ensure that our subject matter experts are included in the conversation. Because I've worked for companies where, like I mentioned earlier, executives are trying to be the subject matter experts and the strategists, which typically don't go well. So, which led to those shutdowns and stuff like that. So I learned from that in order to empower my team and ensure that they can get the job done and what we promised the customers. So keeping them caught up on the status and letting them know what we need to get done really gives them a true understanding on the why, like why we're doing this work, which tends to lead to the fuel to keep going. And so it's really truly about recognizing the greatness in individuals and putting them in a position to be great and do the things that they enjoy. So I believe a leader's job is to inspire and create the environment where that can come to life. So that also looks like allowing that my employees also have the opportunities. I don't like to say employees, my collaborators or my counterparts have the
Smart
opportunity
move.
to speak on panels and go to networking events and build their network as well. Because I do understand as CEO, we typically are the face of the company and business, but noticing the positive impact that bringing your team members with you and giving them their flowers in front of others also plays
That's
a
important.
progress of the company. So
That
I try
that
to
is
stick.
important. You're really emphasizing the word community. I know we talked about that a little early in the conversation about resilience. We talked about community. Like you really are big on the word community. Like how, you know, whether it's personal, it's professional, it's cultural, like how crucial is it in the growth of your success, the word community?
It's I would say extremely without my community, the individuals I came across that shared codes, provide me insights, or even just share their personal experience, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't be, I wouldn't even have the courage to run my own business if it wasn't for me growing up in a marginalized community, I believe, and learning from the different individuals I learned from. And even not even just the mentors, but the organizations that I learned from, like the
Yep.
challenges and the challenges and the wrongdoings. I've learned a lot, learned what not to do. And I've also noticed me sharing that information to my mentees and individuals that ask me questions, the positive impact it had on them. And so I really believe the fact that I leaned into my community to get to where I am is why I'm in the community space as it pertains to providing organizations their own community platforms to have full ownership and control on their community engagement. And it might sound cliche, but for many people that come from a marginalized community, we carry the weight of history, where at some point our ancestors faced some type of modern day slavery. And today, many people online are experiencing a form of manipulation and control from technical platforms that own the data and manipulate its users. So
Yeah.
that's truly why we're on a mission to empower communities who want to break free and own and control their online engagement with our custom platform at AllPeeP.
When you talk about mentorship, right? I'm just thinking about it right now. You talk about mentor. You mentoring a new generation, right?
Yeah,
There's a different mindset when it comes to the generations.
true. Yeah,
Different mindset, right? So you employed and obviously help empower a lot of the newer generation, right? Could you talk about like in a very impactful time where you gave advice um, that you received, but then you also had to share it with somebody and it
right.
helped to shape whether it be at the company
Mhm.
that you own right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So, from the organization I was a part of, I'm still a part of them, 100 Black Men and Greater. For a lot of the, since high school, there's mentees that continue to reach out to me and ask advice if it's from like figuring out how to navigate applying for scholarships for their undergraduate or getting internships or finding a job or getting an internship with us. One major piece of advice that I received from one of my mentors, Merlene Santil, is ensuring that we live life in permanent data. And it really stuck with me. And basically, what that means is making sure that we're coachable and we're always learning and leaning into being open minded, so that that opens us up to continuously involvement and embracing change. And the key to finding our passion is to really lean into like the curiosity, the question
Yep.
that may ask when things pop up, and like the issues that may arise is trying to figure out how to solve that. Really lean into that, because once you do, make sure to keep evolving, playing to our strengths. It's really important that we do play to our strengths and stay true to who we are as well. Because in life, as you know, like a lot is thrown at us, and the goal is to always be in your learning zone, which allows you to keep learning and adapting through both your own experiences and most importantly, the experience of others. I've seen where I've leaned into the experience of others versus some peers of mine were like, they'll act like they know it all and kind of end up in a terrible situation. Doesn't mean that they won't get to their end goal. It just slows them down.
Yeah.
So I really hope to guide the next generation in that same spirit and empowering them. Like, because typically when like growing up, when I would ask for advice, I would ask for advice from like, hey, I'm trying to get over there, rather than not understanding that I have everything I need within me to make sure that I can make it to my end goal. So I really want to ensure that like when I'm providing insights and advice, that the individual or individuals I'm speaking to, that they do understand that they already have the power inside them. I'm just helping navigate and guiding them by sharing my experiences in order to get there.
Mm, 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 mm. You are dropping some heavy gems right now. I
Appreciate
hope
it.
our listeners got a little goodie bag going on. Just put that on their back because the gems is dropping. The gems is dropping on our first episode again. Just reminding our listeners, first episode back here at the Zaka platform in 2025, and it's already some serious information being dropped tonight. Let's talk about entrepreneurship, right? Because we're talking about being a mentor, we're talking about the company, we're talking about all these things. Entrepreneur, right? That already is stressful within itself. And we kind of touched it a little bit, but like talk a little bit more about a moment as an entrepreneur, which I know it crosses every entrepreneur. I'm about to quit. I'm about to give up. I'm about to go back to what I was doing originally or find me another job, right? Some people might not consider entrepreneurship as a job that share until you become successful, but it is a job. It is a job, right? So was there a moment in time where you were like, I can't do this. I gotta pull out. I gotta get out of this.
Absolutely. Um, Typically, similar moment I'm about to share. It happens from time to time for businesses, which is basically ensuring that you have the proper amount of funding to keep going. Like typically, when you're starting out, your runway, which is the amount of money that you have available in your account to keep going based on your month-to-month expenses, it's typically short. So you either have businesses that may have the capital starting out with their business owners. They have capital to pursue the business maybe for a year or maybe even more, but typically it's about a year to 2 years, if not less. But if you don't have the capital, maybe you're using loans to provide funding through the business to ensure that it's cash flow positive, or it's
Yeah.
raising investments. And there's various ways to do that. So throughout building and growing AllPeeP, it's like the back and forth of like, okay, we got a couple months of cash. Oh, we have no months of cash. So that'll lead to me and my business partners to having to put our own capital into it or reaching out to investors to pour into us and selling them on the vision of why. And that can play a toll depending on your perspectives because it takes time away from you having to really build the business and engaging with customers. And so basically ensuring that the right people with the right vision on your team and that you are preparing yourself and putting in strategic time to ensure that, like, depending on the barriers that you may face, it can be like customers churning or you losing customers, or investors backing out on a deal after they said that they will invest X amount of dollars. So being ready to prepare yourself for all the X's that can happen on your journey as you're building your business and navigating. Because there's a lot of companies today who are public, private, major, but they're not even in the green yet. They're not making more money than they are burning out. So it's really important that when you go into entrepreneurship or you find your craft, you are intentional on the amount of time that you have in order for it to be successful, and you have that in mind. So that's so important.
And they always say like in the first 3 years, 5 years, like you in the red all the way through.
Right.
Like you just stressing, right? You're just trying to stay afloat, right? Because there's a lot of overhead to put into the company in order to start to see it come back, right? But if you stick it out, you got some really good, insights and
Yeah.
mentorship previously, and a lot of knowledge about how to do what you do. I mean, you definitely turn it around. And
Absolutely.
you talked about the 100 black men. You said Fort Lauderdale, right?
Yeah. That's right, man. Great for a lot of them.
Yeah. But you also have an award.
Oh, yeah.
Let's not the smile came on that face. You don't think I know about this award right here? And you got an award by the one and only Mr. Pharrell Williams, right?
Great.
This is the person, Mr. Pharrell Williams, which is an amazing entrepreneur, very, very well known for mentoring and coaching people, very knowledgeable, and definitely in the arts, but also in fashion, right? This man is multifaceted, right? So to receive an award from somebody like that, and talk about it as a Black Ambition Prize, right?
Right.
What was that feeling like? What was that recognition? I mean, I can see the smile right now. I wasn't even there, but I could only imagine when you got the reward. I mean, the award in your hand.
So for starters, try my best to explain the impact that it had on the company, but also as me as the individual. So Black Ambition Prize, as you said, was founded by Pharrell Williams and led by CEO Felicia Hatcher. And they're all about closing the opportunity and wealth gap through entrepreneurship for Black and Latinx entrepreneurs by providing access to capital, mentorship, and a network of industry leaders. And back in 2022, 6 months after taking a leap of faith and going full time, only having about 8 months of runway cash left in the bank, we got the notification or information that we received the award.
Oh,
And
I was waiting. I was waiting for the notification from the bank. The way you was going down this word, I was like, "Oh, he about to tell me
that
about
is
that."
well.
The
That is well.
noti-
But the
Wells
most
Fargo sent the message.
impactful part was and it still is, it's still paying continuous dividends, is the community being able to reach out and get connected to our targeted customers, investors. Just last year, they flew me out. Well, the end of 2023, they flew me out to Accra, Ghana, to speak on a panel for a pitch competition that they hosted along with Afro Futures to their entrepreneurs and individuals within their community on the impact of being a part of the Black Ambition ecosystem and also winning an award by Pharrell Williams. This helped me raise a little over $250,000 in pre-seed investment right after receiving that award. And we're on track to gain that exponentially in revenue. And then this also led to us being selected to be a part of Harvard Innovations Lab Accelerator Program. So being able to be a part of Harvard. I went to
Yeah.
HBCU, seeing the impact that a predominant PWI and having the access that they now have, it's a game changer. But it really led to Pharrell Williams and Felicia Hatcher organization to open the door and put us in those rooms, because I'm a testament, and many of us are, that we have the talent. It's just a lack of resources and access. So now that I had that access, it's nothing for me to go in a room and sit down and close a deal and feel like I belong and not have to show up in fear or the lack of confidence when individuals like Felicia Hatcher and Pharrell Williams, Merlene Santil, and many others have showed interest and put their dollars behind us to back this idea that I myself has decided to pursue, but many others are chasing now and facing the pain point. And it's just a proven testament that if we have a burning desire or a curiosity, that like if we leaned in to it, like, and leap, a net will appear and those aligned individuals will come to support you. Because growing up, I would have never thought in a million years that individuals on their stature would invest in the idea that I had. Because initially, I thought sports would have been my way out. And look how things are.
True.
Like the end goal is still the same, and I'm moving a lot quicker. But it's all about really leaning in and leveraging our community. It's all there. We can really say what we want to do and then do it, and then watch all the fruits bear within the seeds that we plant. So
True. 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 True.
I'm
True. True.
fortunate, man, and I just hope that the codes and insights I share can lead to others that look like me and don't look like me to take a bet and a risk on themselves to make it happen.
And that's the biggest investment, taking a risk on yourself.
Absolutely.
You're taking a risk on yourself. And obviously you did it several times, right? And look what happened. Led you to various different awards and recognition, right? That you could still live off of today. Right. So congratulations. And to again, something from being acknowledged by someone who in modern day time is looked at to be a powerhouse. It's
Yeah.
really good. It's
Yeah.
amazing to have that.
Provided me and my other founders that they invested in as well, the fuel to keep pushing. And then with that fuel came more milestones, more customer acquisitions. And it really takes like the resources and tools you need to buy yourself more time in order for the market to catch on and for us to really turn our wildest dreams into reality. And because a lot of startups and businesses fail not because it's a bad business idea or they're not solving a big problem, but we typically don't have the resources and tools in our communities to sustain that, because there's a lot of other stuff going on. So I'm just proud to continue to keep pushing, and eventually I'll be where I desire to be as it pertains to like a pioneer in our community, and I can give back and pour into individuals in marginalized communities and surrounding communities through funding, through insights and mentorship. But I also would love to back others with capital as well, like others are doing for me. It's important.
Okay. Respect that. Well, D'Angelo, you've answered a lot of significant things and given a lot of gems this episode. But I gotta ask you this question. You're in the tech space, innovation, right? Innovation is essential,
So essential.
and or you have to be authentic. How do
Right.
you ensure that AllPeeP stays true to the mission while remaining competitive in a rapidly changing industry environment?
Yeah. So
You could
basically,
easily be like, "This is what we're doing," but then you look to the left and you're like, "You know what? They're doing that. Let me jump on that bandwagon." Right? Then 2 weeks later, you look to the right and you're like, "Wait, hold up, but they're doing that too. So let's jump on that." How do you manage to stay true? Now, I know obviously shout out to your mentors, which you've mentioned a few of their names. Shout out to the names that you have mentioned tonight. But in that sense, like, how do you stay kind of tunnel vision and not like jump ship?
yeah. The saying, I'm sure you heard of it growing up, is never keep up with the Joneses. Like the grass may look like it's greener on their sides because our competitors may have more features, a lot more stuff on their plate as far as like the tools, but really leaning into the why, sticking to the why, and staying close to our customers, listening to their feedback, and ensuring that we're providing them the solution to the problems that they're explaining. Because there's times where we would have prospect customers that's currently on a competitor platform, and they will explain their problems, but they would also say, "We want everything that we've had with your competitor, plus the things that they don't have." And we would dive into the conversation of really understanding how they're using their platforms, and come to find out they're only using about 25 or 30% of the features, but they want everything else because of the aesthetic. So being able to ensure that we hold ourselves true into providing organizations the control over their communities, but also checking them based on how they're using their platforms, and letting them know, like, well, hey, you're only using 25% of this. We can ensure that you get what you're using and the value that you're getting, but let us focus on providing you the value that you're looking for as well, because you don't need the other stuff, and giving them a list of facts and insights on why. Because there's a lot of features that we have access to with technology platforms and etc. But there's main features that we need, and there's others that we can't live without. And I noticed by having those hard conversations, because at first, initially customers would be like, wait, what? I'm always right. But being able to have that, heart to heart, authentic conversation, and really first asking them why. I typically like to follow the 5 whys to really ensure that we understand, but they understand the problem that they're going through. And then from there, we'll provide them insight and information on how to provide that solution to them and do it effectively.
Mm, mm.
Yeah,
D'Angelo,
really
you a boss.
appreciate it.
You a boss. You a boss. And shout out again. I know I want to go pick up this book, this Haitian book that you do have, that talks about all the gems, about the resilience, the community, the family, about bringing people up, pushing that elevator to having to go back down. Like, you really, really, really empower. You really inspire, and you really do live that lifestyle.
Thank you,
And there's a
Paul.
lot of people that talk about it, but even in our conversation and me getting to know you, like, you could tell deep down inside, this is the person you really are. Like,
Thank
it's not like you're doing it because you're an entrepreneur. You're not just doing it because you're trying to make money off of it. Yeah, this is the type of person and the character that you have. It doesn't just happen only when you're in the office. It happened when you were in sports, happened when you were in college, happened at your first job. It just is just a better version of the version that you are, right? And you're
you.
aligned. You're aligned. The alignment is serious, man. So congratulations, so much, man. It's good to hear stories like this, right?
I warns my You're an amazing host though. So like you guided me through this conversation. So thanks for setting the tone, and really like
Yeah, no. I'd say, like, at the end of the day, we're having conversation, right? And I feel like the community members that are listening, that are hearing our conversation, and they're being inspired just by conversation, not someone breaking down stats to them every single
right.
time. That, not saying that's a bad thing to do, but
Oh, but
you're
they got
breaking down the
quickly.
stats through conversation.
Right. It starts with conversation, and it's important that you build a connection with like the person that you're talking to, or the individuals that's listening. Because if they can't relate, how can they understand? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So important.
nah. So you are right, man. And so congratulations again on all your success. Congratulations on the company, mentoring, coaching, and just living up to the standards and the life that your parents wanted you to do from a very
Thank you.
young age.
Thank you. We're standing on the shoulders of many giants. So just trying to do my part and ensure that with the baton I am carrying, I gain ground and make some progress.
Okay. But I want to let the listeners know, if you want to hear more inspirational stories like D'Angelo, please check us out on ZakaConnect.com. Follow us on our social at Zaka Connect, and follow our freak Zaka wherever you listen to your podcasts.